Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm looking back at the Rankin Bass adaptation of J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit. I recently made another video where I revisited Ralph Bakshi's adaptation of The Lord of the Rings, a film that I love by the way, and in that video I briefly mentioned this Rankin Bass film. The Hobbit was a made-for-TV movie that debuted in the United States on November 27th, the Sunday following the Thanksgiving holiday. Now, I don't remember watching the TV movie when it originally aired. My first exposure to The Hobbit and the world of Tolkien came from this 24-page read-along book and record that told the story of The Hobbit. It's hard to imagine being able to tell much of the story in just 24 pages filled with pictures, but I sure loved it. The Hobbit was produced and directed by Arthur Rankin Jr. and Jules Bass of Rankin Bass Productions. It was made on a budget of $3 million. Rankin and Bass are probably best known for their stop-motion holiday specials, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Santa Claus is Coming to Town. When interviewed for the film, Rankin declared that he would add nothing to the story that wasn't in the original. Now, with a runtime of just 1 hour and 17 minutes, I would argue it's easy not to add content as there's no way to incorporate the entirety of the story in such a compressed time limit. Notably absent is the part of the story where the travelers need to stop and are granted shelter by Bjorn, a skin changer who can take the form of a bear. With that said, Rankin and Bass do a good job of telling the general story in those 77 minutes. For those not familiar with the story, Gandalf the Wizard brings a group of dwarves to meet Bilbo Baggins, with the goal of hiring him to help them steal back their gold from the dragon Smaug, who has stolen it and now lives inside Lonely Mountain, protecting his treasure. Along the way, this traveling company has a scary encounter with some hungry trolls who are looking to make a quick meal of the dwarves. After being rescued by Gandalf, the group finds a stash of treasure and Bilbo takes possession of his sword, which we later learn is the magic blade he names Sting. They then have to fight their way through an encounter with giant spiders, followed by then being captured by goblins and taken to the Goblin King, and during their escape from the goblins, Bilbo gets separated and ends up falling into a cave where he meets Gollum and finds the ring that was made to rule them all. Bilbo doesn't know the power of this ring, but does figure out how to use it to turn invisible. The dwarves are then captured by the Wood Elves and taken to their king. After finally escaping, they make their way to Lonely Mountain and the Lake Town people, which live right next to the Lonely Mountain. Bilbo then uses the ring to go inside of the mountain with the hopes of finding some weakness of Smaug, which he does. He sends message of that weakness to Bard, the archer who lives in Lake Town. Bard is able to then shoot and kill Smaug. It's then that the famous Battle of the Five Armies pursues, a battle to see who will possess the recovered treasure. As is the case with all battles, there are numerous casualties on all sides. The dwarves offer Bilbo his share of the recovered treasure, but he only takes what he can carry, and he makes his way home to the Shire. I've been really wanting to introduce my 9-year-old daughters to the world of Tolkien, and I thought that this animated telling of The Hobbit might be a good way to do it. So, I purchased the movie on iTunes for $5. I was hoping that they would love it, and while they humored me and watched it, I don't think that they loved it. I think the main reason is that they've grown up in an age where the quality of animation has gotten so much better. With that said, I enjoyed the stroll down memory lane. I would love to read your comments about this Rankin Bass production of The Hobbit. Did you watch it on TV when it originally aired? Or did you by chance catch it later on? How do you feel it holds up today? Finally, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel. I mostly make videos where I talk about movies, TV shows, music, and other things from the 70s and 80s. Thanks again and have a great day.